how to cut a hairline into a hair system. This video is in partnership with LaVivid Hair, and I love their hair systems because to me they look the most natural. I really like their polybase ultra thin skin. That to me, I mean, you can't get any better than that as far as it looking very, very natural. They have a wide variety of colors and also different types of systems as well. Now, I've learned over the time frame of me between wearing them, between applying them, a variety of different things and tricks and little tips on how to cut the hairline into a hair system. Now, as someone who's been a professional hairstylist for about 25 years now, cutting hair is something that's I'm very passionate about it. And I love that I can transform people's hair through different techniques and various different looks. And I've learned with a hair system that you have to treat it pretty much as if it's your own hair. So when I cut a hair system, or any time I style it, or whatever I do to it, I need to make sure that I'm making it a part of either the client or myself. And in today's video, I'm going to demonstrate a technique and a few things that I've learned and that I suggest when cutting in your own hairline. Now, you need to understand something when it comes to hairlines and hair systems. It's very, very easy to make one look unnatural. Meaning if you cut too much of the system or the base, you cut it too far back, you cut hair when you're not really supposed to be cutting the hair, you don't section it properly. There's a whole variety of different things. And these systems right here, these hair systems, the way that they're created and the way that they're stitched in hair by hair, it's all done by hand. If you don't cut it properly, it's not going to look right. And if you notice right in through here, you can see, I'm just holding this, you'll see how this is the front of it, of how it's very, very natural right in through here. And that's what you want in a hairline. You don't want to have the hairline just a super strong, harsh, blunt, straight across line where the hair doesn't look like it's growing naturally. So you want to keep the hairline looking as natural as possible. So let's start with the actual cutting. You're going to need some sort of sharp scissor, whether it's professional shears or something that is sharp, okay? Because you want to make sure that when you're cutting the poly, you're getting good, clean cuts on it, and professional shears definitely are the way to go. If you don't have professional shears, then you can use anything that's sharp, okay? I don't know what you have around the house, but sharp scissors will work. So what I've done right here is I've taken the entire hair system like this, and I've squeezed it into kind of like a little bit of not a knot, but I'm squeezing this so that the hairline right here is the most exposed, as you can see right in through here. So that's all I'm really seeing, and it's giving me a good starting point on where to cut it. Now what I'm going to do is demonstrate and start off very, very slowly. You can see what this does is it allows for the hair right here to remain as natural as possible, because that is how it was made and stitched in. So I'm cutting this really, really closely on top, right? I'm cutting on top of it. I'm not cutting underneath, I'm cutting on the top layer. And what's happening right here, as you can see, you don't see the poly anymore. You just really see a hairline, a natural looking hairline. And I'm going to continue to carefully, and this does take some time and it is a process, I'm going to continue to carefully cut out the rest of the hairline. You can grab it in sections and continue to cut this method, but you need to make sure you make sure you have this front hair right here pulled back as much as possible so you're not cutting the hair itself. So I'm just following the same pattern, and I'm literally cutting off any of the poly base that I'm seeing while trying to keep the hairline intact. right? And the natural growth pattern, or looks like a natural growth pattern. That's what's important, is you want to make this to look as natural as you possibly can. So now that I have the hairline cut, it's time to do some refining. And now this is going to make it so much easier to take a look. And this is the front right here. And I really got this as close as I possibly can to where it was naturally, it was stitched by hand right in through here, right? The beading and everything. I try to get it as close as possible because on a human, the hairline, for the most part, has inconsistencies in how it grows out from the head. Anything too straight across looks very, very unnatural, and that's the problem with people with hair systems. So what I'm doing is now I'm just going to go back into where I can see any sort of extra poly that I don't really want, and I'm just lightly skimming over this with the shear. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm using the inside of the shear here because sometimes that tends to be the sharpest on a scissor, and I'm just lightly going over just the smallest amounts and the smallest areas of the poly base because I simply, again, want to keep this looking extremely natural. Now, the challenge is that if you don't cut this evenly, you obviously don't want a hairline that is going to be all zigzagged all over the place. That's why it's crucial to make sure that when you're cutting this, you're really, making this look as natural as you can. And it's an art, you got to really take your time. You got to really move the hair system in all different angles like I'm doing right now. Hold it differently, grab and put pressure on it in different areas, and make sure that you're looking as close to human hair on your head as possible. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, this is the front hairline right here. I'm now going to kind of reverse what I did, and I'm going to just see from the top angle what that front hairline is going to look like. And if I see anything that I don't like, I'm going to get rid of it. And the great thing about being so precise is that, the more effort you put into this, the better it's going to look. So now I'm seeing some inconsistencies and a little bit extra poly base that I necessarily don't want there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to continue to work the hairline, and I'm going to continue to work any sort of poly base that I don't want until I feel that it's perfect. It's as close as possible to it looking like it's growing from your head. All right, so I just want to show you guys up close how natural and realistic this looks. Now, obviously, there's no glue on here, but if there was the glue on, then you could really see. But I just want you to just take a look at this front right here, right? This is the part that everybody wants to have perfect. And if you are able to cut this in this way, it comes out the most natural you could possibly get it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just roll this down this way so you guys can take a better look at how this is. Again, there's no glue on this, but watch how the hair line looks. All right, obviously if there was glue on it, it'd look a bit different, and this would all be kind of down this way. But that looks like a natural hairline. Okay, a natural hairline is something that doesn't look straight across like this, right? It's not super harsh. If you take the time to cut it and make it kind of like a work of art, that is going to be your best bet, and that's what's going to keep your hairline looking natural. If you are looking to purchase a hair system or any sort of products needed for application or removal of the hair system, visit LaVividHair.com.